Thank you very much, Gab. Thank you, Amy. And thank you very much, Paul, as well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Remember, double points up for grabs, 50 up for grabs in this one. I think it's about time that we go racing at Phillip Island. Right, so here we go. Strap yourselves in. Race one of the evening. 100 points up for grabs throughout the course of tonight. This surely is going to swing the championship possibly one way or another. This is your front row of the grid for this opening race of the evening, with double champion Trastevere joined by Adrian DP26 and Andrew ZH.
On to row two then, we have Wimp, the Belgian of the field, and also the rookie as well. We have Christian MM17. What can he do from fifth on the grid there? And of course, running out that, just heard a lot about him. It's 1&H on that Red Bull KTM.
On home soil, it's the best qualifying of the Global Series for Mr. TFTW. Repsol Honda's Ellie goes 555 there on row three as well. And rounding it out, Indonesia's Moe.
Onto the final row, it's Rioja on the Aprilia in the middle of the front row with Bomber 45. He needs to stay on this race on that Petronas Yamaha. And then rounding out the back of the grid, it's Moreira, the Brazilian.
It won't bother him, though. He's already got a podium finish from last on the grid so far this season. So 3 riders separated by 7 points at the top of the championship. Race 1 of the Global Series finale is underway, and it's a storming start from pole position by Monster Energy Yamaha's Trastevere. A short run down to turn 1. He looks as though he's got it covered, but here comes Adrian DP26 trying to squeeze up the inside, but the door slammed shut on him by Trastevere.
Oh, we saw what drama happened down here at the turn 2 and the real race we had there, and there's drama there as well as Adrian DP26 buffs Trastevere out the way. There's drama already as they head down towards Stoner Corner.
Well, the older brother of Christian MM17 hasn't even been on the podium so far this season, but on the opening lap here at Phillip Island, he is leading it.
Oh, they're wild and way too wide down at turn 4. They're definitely wild. I got a bit confused by the reckless riding notification coming up there, but all sorts of lines being taken there.
Contact.
Andrew ZH getting buffed there as well.
I think that was Christian MM17. He's had to come through from the second row of the grid, but he's had a storming first lap. Here comes Andrew ZH, though. The series leader trying to squeeze through. Nearly puts his title protagonist on the grass.
At the hay shed, that is not a place you want to be going anywhere near to offline. We've seen so many crashes there before. Oh, someone is off. Is that Bomber 45? Oh, he's down. Will he take anybody else with him? I hope not. But how many times have we seen that sort of thing? Over Lukey Heights. Trastevere is going to lead, coming out onto the front straight at the end of the first lap.
Meanwhile, our series leader, Andrew ZH, has been duffed up on the first lap. He started from third on the grid. He's down in fourth. Meanwhile, his closest rival, just 4 points adrift in the championship, is away with it at the front. Trastevere leads after lap 1.
Definitely saw your championship leader there, Andrew ZH, going a little bit over track limits on the edge there. That rear tyre spinning up. Got to be careful. You can lose it. Oh, who was that looking up the inside there? Andrea DP26. We're riding on board with him. Can he do anything about that Yamaha as we go down on the run towards Stoner Corner?
Well, we're only on to lap 2 at the moment, but already, Matt, will Adrian DP26 do his brother a favour? Christian MM17 is only 7 points away from leading the championship. Adrian DP26, meanwhile, a huge 34 behind. Surely he's not going to move over to one side and let his brother through.
Oh, I don't know. Only those guys know exactly what conversations have been going on in the lead up to this sort of weekend. But it's the 2 Suzuki's positions 2 and 3 at the moment. Trastevere holding firm out front. Well, it's got shades of near about a month ago, doesn't it? Really, watching down at Phillip Island is a real, of course, rider's favourite circuit. I'm pretty sure it must be the same with these guys here as well.
It's certainly got a flavour of last time we had some eSport action at Aragon, where Trastevere won race number 4 of this 6-race championship. He was pushed all the way by Andrew ZH on that occasion, went right down to the final lap and the final corner. At the moment, there's a shed load of work to do for Andrew ZH if he wants to put himself in a similar position. Down in 4th, that's the live championship standings at the moment then, as they come across the line to complete lap number 2. There's still a long way to go, but as it stands, a 20 points advantage for Trastevere with just 1 race remaining later this evening.
Well, I tell you what, Jack, this is a real timely performance. Moreira, that's going to be no heroics for him from the back of the grid. He's gone down out of 11th place there. But I tell you what, yes, as I was saying, a timely performance from Trastevere, the double world champion, leading very well indeed in the fast lap there from him that time around as well. He's pulled out half a second from Adrian DP26.
This is going to plan for Trastevere at the moment. We've had 4 races so far, and every single time the man that started from pole position has gone on to take victory. It's so vital on the opening lap that you stay out of trouble, and that's exactly what Trastevere was able to do. Meanwhile, we're on board now with the Ducati of Andrew ZH, all over the rear wheel of Christian MM17. He knows he needs to get himself onto the podium at least if he's to try and keep his championship hopes alive.
So many different line choices as well. You can really see it through turn 4 as well. It looked like Adrian DP26 and Trastevere kept a really nice tight line through there. They seem to be doing that on the Yamahas and the Suzuki. And we remind you, of course, that all these bikes, the performance is exactly the same. It's not like a Ducati rides like the Ducati out there on the track here at Valencia as well.
The only thing that will make a huge difference is tyre wear. New for 2019, these guys can push to the limit during the opening laps, but they have to be careful that they don't chew up the Michelin rears that they've got on board their machines. We saw on a couple of occasions, actually in rounds 1 and 2, where that man there, Andrew ZH, his worst result of the season was when he finished 8th at the Red Bull Ring. That's because he opted for the soft rear tyre, and as we got into the closing stages, he was unable to stay with the pace of the leaders.
Well, I'll tell you who, the one man who is really setting the pace, though, Trastevere, pulling out even more of a gap there, though. It's come down in that first sector of this lap around. Lap 4 we are. Now, watch the line differences as we're breaking down into the Honda hairpin here. What is Andrew ZH able to do? He's really able to close up, but too much. He hits the back of Christian MM17. Got to be careful there. Don't wipe him out. Don't get done by Mike, the race director, for reckless riding. Mike rules with an iron fist, as you well know.
Certainly does. You'll only have a couple of warnings for irresponsible riding, and I'm sure that Mike will have watched that one very closely. Meanwhile, at the front of the race, Trastevere just ever so slightly wide there. It's not really giving Adrian DP26 that much of an advantage. The gap just remaining at over 0.4 of a second.
Oh, just swirling through around Lukey Heights. Andrew ZH all over the back of Christian MM17 there. Will he be able to be in the slipstream zone down the front straight, though? I did see last time around, Christian MM17 definitely was in striking range of his brother, but for whatever reason decided against it down into turn 1. But let's see, we're on the run out on the straight here. Great drive, but it seems that Andrew ZH has got. He's in the slipstream, he's making a move past. We're on Trace Cam. They are neck and neck down into turn 1. He's made the pass. Who breaks first? Well, certainly wasn't Andrew ZH.
He managed to squeeze his way through. Christian MM17 looking for an audacious move around the outside. You're not going to do that at turn 1 at Phillip Island, but you might be able to if you're brave enough. But on that occasion, couldn't find a way through, so a change at the final podium place at the moment then. 5 laps completed. Andrew ZH gets himself up into 3rd place, and look how much of a difference that makes to the live championship standings.
Blimey, yes, minus 14 points for him.
There
He's
he
got
goes
the inside again. Oh, he moves him out the way, but will it be enough on the run down into towards turn 6? No, he holds the inside line, does the Suzuki rider. Great racing here in the final round we have here. How about that for defending? Oh, Andrew ZH offline. He loses a bit of time. He's been accused of reckless riding. Be careful. Mike rules with the iron fist.
Onto the grass was Andrew ZH, and as a result, he not only lost 3rd place, but he's now got wimp all over his rear wheel. All of that hard work that he did on half a lap to not only get past Christian MM17, but then close right in on his brother Adrian DP26, gone to waste. Here's a replay of it. You can see Adrian DP26 well within his rights just to push him out a little bit wide, and Andrew ZH didn't have any room onto the grass, and as a result lost all of his drive. And suddenly he's back down in 4th place, and he's got it all to do again.
Masterfully defending his line he was, and as we come across the home straight again, we start lap 6. I was having a look at Wimp there on that Tech 3 KTM. These guys get too messed up. What happened there? Oh, Christian MM17, he's gone way wide at turn 1. He's lost several places there. Was that the brothers?
I think it was, trying to come together. Christian MM17 was looking for a move up the inside of his older brother Adrian DP26, who slammed the door shut on him, and as a result he got it sideways going into the opening corner. Somehow he managed to hold on to it, but he has been dropped down to 5th place as a result. And as all of this action continues for 2nd and 3rd place, it means that Trastevere is escaping at the front.
Here's what happened at turn 1. Oh, Christian MM17, you saw a little twitch from that front wheel. He nearly went down. Very fortunate across the grass as well. Managed to hold the grip rather well there. Excellent stuff. Not even the sort of thing you can practice for either.
So at the moment then, Andrew ZH sat in 3rd place. That's the man that we're focusing on. If things stay as they are, and as we've seen, that can change pretty quickly. He will be 14 points behind his compatriot Trastevere. And I tell you what, you've just got to take your hat off for Trastevere. Not only a double world champion, but he comes into the Global Series this year with all of the pressure of being the only man that signed to a factory team, Monster Energy Yamaha. But he's managed to deal with the pressure. He had a difficult start, took him 4 races to pick up a victory, but now that it matters, here in Valencia with double points up for grabs, he's pulling clear at the front of the race.
Yeah, this is a super impressive performance, Jack. I really got to hand it to him, but it's not over yet. You can't make any sort of mistakes. We know just how easy that can be around this Phillip Island Circuit, but at the moment, he's holding that 1.5 second lead out in front. There is Trastevere. Andrew ZH still got time to claw it back. Still one more race, of course, still all to play for. All it takes, one mistake, someone else getting involved in an accident, running offline, and that could be your race completely turned on its head. What can Andrew ZH do down into turn 4? Nothing this time on Adrian DP26.
And of course, the final race of tonight coming from Jerez, where turns 1 and 2 are going to be pretty dramatic, I would imagine, on that opening lap, especially into turn 2. There's going to be some fair lunges moving in with people desperate to try and pick themselves up some valuable points in this championship chase. Meanwhile, we've got, 3.5 laps remaining here at Australia, race 5 of the 6-race Global Series. Trastevere out front, over 1.5 seconds clear, with Adrian DP26 at the moment able to hold off the advances of Andrew ZH. But how long will that last? Because the pressure is certainly mounting on the Suzuki rider's shoulders.
Oh, totally. You do wonder what Andrew ZH's tactics are. Is he going to sit behind him? Does he think that Trastevere's gone? That lead has dissipated away from him. That chance of winning and extending a lead in the live championship has gone. Will he make a move on Adrian DP26? Well, he certainly looks like he's about to. He's in the slipstream, but is he close enough this time? No. Superb breaking down into turn 1 from the Suzuki.
Bit of a surprise that Christian MM17, having made that mistake into turn 1, at the moment hasn't really been able to close in on Wimp ahead of him. He's currently 5th, which of course means he will pick up, 22 points, with double points up for grabs. So he could probably do with trying to get in front of the Belgian rookie if he can, but time is starting to run out.
I'll tell you what, Jack, I can hear a couple of the members of the audience getting a bit confused by the camera angles there. They caught me out last year. I'm too wise to it now. But we are looking back then from the number 26 Suzuki. Andrew ZH breathing down his neck. Wimp is incoming as well. Who has saved their tyres the best coming into these final couple of laps?
Certainly looks like Trastevere is comfortable at the front. If anything, he's been able to eke out another 10th of a second as the laps start to tick away. But Andrew ZH, he closes in so much on the brakes, but so far Adrian DP26 has been defending like a demon. No way through, no gaps for him to try and push his way through either. So things stay as they are with soon to be 2 laps remaining.
Oh, he's absolutely fixed on the screen. I was wondering whether they're even blinking. I've not seen Adrian DP26 blink for some time, that's for sure. Absolutely no question of the focus there. These guys giving it absolutely everything they've got. We start the penultimate lap here of race 1 of the final round here in Valencia, and then neck and neck down into turn 1. Who's going to get it? Who's going to yield first? Well, it seems to be Andrew ZH. He's got no choice because Adrian DP26 masterfully holds the inside line.
It's smart racing from Adrian DP26, moving to the inside, forcing Andrew ZH to go around the outside if he wants to take second place away, as we edge towards turn number 3 now, and then turn 4. I'm sure we'll see him once again just edge towards the outside of the track, not to leave a gap for Andrew ZH, although here he comes.
I thought he was. He's so wide then. Oh, Wimp nearly takes him out. Oh, that was overly ambitious from Andrew ZH, and then even more so from the Belgian rider. But look at his face, he hasn't even blinked.
There we go, reckless riding going the way of Wimp. He'll only get a couple of warnings before a penalty is slapped on his wrist. Meanwhile, that mistake from Wimp closing in onto the rear wheel and creating a bit of contact with this man, Andrew ZH, has meant that he's lost out on 4th place. Christian MM17 aboard the Suzuki, now back up to 4th. But was that audacious move that Andrew ZH was trying to pull off into turn number 4, lost his opportunity of trying to take second?
I've got to say though, Jack, I don't think so. He's really able to recover superbly. He's already right on the back of the Adrian DP26 once again. As we're now coming around the final corner, it's all about that drive as we come on the home straight. One more lap to go then as Trastevere crosses the finish line. Andrew ZH has made a move past. He's got him, but can he hold that line? Has he overtaken him enough? Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, superb. Oh! He's gone down. down.
Adrian
What a
DP26 tucks the front into turn number 1. He was on course for a first podium finish of the season, but he crashes out on the final lap, and Andrew ZH has been gifted second place, and as a result, it means that as things stand, only 6 points will separate Trastevere and Andrew ZH with 1 race remaining.
So, well, it's not over yet because Christian MM17 is right on his tail as well, and we still got many more corners to negotiate as well, but this one locked up by Trastevere, it seems. If there are no mistakes from him, Murray has gone down again. That's been a disastrous race for him, unfortunately, but how about this? I was saying how much it could change oh so quickly with these guys. Through the hay shed we go, and now on towards Lukey Heights.
Here we go, one last time over the top of Lukey Heights. Trastevere leading the race by over 2 seconds now. He's just got to keep it nice and simple through this final sector, and it'll be win number 2 of the season for the double world champion. But who is going to take second place? Will it be the Ducati of Andrew ZH, or can Christian MM17 somehow muster up a late move? It looks unlikely. Trastevere's out of the final corner. It's going to be victory number 2 of the season, and the World Championship lead with 1 race to go for Monster Energy Yamaha's Trastevere. Andrew ZH holds on to second place, and Christian MM17 back onto the podium. Goodness gracious me, Matt, we have got 6 points separating the top 2 riders in the championship with 1 race left.
Well,
you couldn't
I've got to say, it's all about the win at that next one. Jerez, it all goes down to them, doesn't it? Got to get that win, absolutely. Nothing less will do with these double points. How about that? I'm exhausted already.
Certainly was. Obviously, a couple of reckless riding warnings going in there as well, so we'll just have to wait and see if Mike does hand out any penalties at the moment. But one thing we do know for certain, that man right there stayed out of trouble, picked up victory number 2 of the season, and now leads the championship. Trastevere making it count when it matters.
Gotta say, that is why he is the double world champion. Will he become the triple world champion here tonight? Well, he's still got it all to do, of course. It is absolutely not guaranteed, as we saw in the closing stages of that race.
We saw Trastevere there. I'm sure he'll be quite pleased in the end to have been able to pick up second place. It looked at one stage like he might have to settle for 4th place. He was desperate to make a move, and in the end, just taking advantage of a late crash from Adrian DP26. But let's remind you of exactly what happened in that opening race. Here are the highlights from race 1 at Phillip Island.
Well, it was very tense on the grid, and it did not let up at all either as the race went on. A great start from Trastevere and Adrian DP26, who, of course, played such a faithful role in the eventual outcome.
As we've seen on 4 other occasions this season, the man that started from pole position took the whole shot and then went on to take victory. Trastevere just about holding off Adrian DP26, despite the Spaniard trying a late lunge up the inside.
It was extremely dramatic on that first lap over at the hay shed. Moves plenty, and some questionable ones as well. Reckless riding moves handed out. There's Bomber 45 getting all squirrely, snaky, all down into the turn number 10 there, and down he went. That was his race over pretty much. Here was one of those slipstreaming moves we saw from Andrew ZH, going up the inside of Christian MM17.
Unfortunately for the Ducati man, though, he would later make a mistake. We saw him drop back to 4th place, but both Suzuki brothers, first Christian MM17 and then Adrian DP26, made mistakes which allowed him to eventually take second place. Trastevere, though, super impressive at the front of the race, almost 2 seconds clear in the end.
Yes, and this was the pivotal move that meant that the championship will go fully down to the wire. Very close it is indeed now with Andrew ZH. Pretty much gifted that podium, but can't take anything away from this man. He was the class of the field down under in Australia.
And the world champion puts himself in pole position to make it 3 on the bounce here in Valencia. Now 6 points clear with 1 race remaining. But you can be guaranteed that Andrew ZH aboard the Ducati will have something to say about it. Here are the final results then from race number 1. As we know, Trastevere taking win number 2 of the season, ahead of Andrew ZH and Christian MM17. Wimp, Juan NH and Mr. TFTW, you've got to take your hat off for him. That's the best result of the season by some margin for the Australian. 7th went the way of Eligos 555, ahead of Moe, Adrian DP26, Riorca, Bomber 45 and the Brazilian rookie, Moreira.